Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational channel where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa, and we aim to inspire the current generation of leaders across the continent. If you are new here, karibu sana. If you are a returning subscriber, karibu sana. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa, and welcome to Cynthia Untamed. Now, you've been minding your business, doing your own work, doing the awesome work that you do, like I know you are doing, and you get this opportunity to address the president. What do you do? How do you go about it? And how do you make sure that you do it perfectly? And that is the reason why we are doing this YouTube video today. So stay tuned. Now, I know this may seem very obvious, but if this is the first time that you've gotten an opportunity to address the president or a person of such stature, or such a person of high stature, about the great work you are doing in your community, the first thing you need to do is relax, celebrate, be excited about what it is that you are feeling. It is valid. You've been waiting for this for a long time, or even if you've not been waiting, you deserve it. You deserve it. You've worked for it. So the opportunity is yours. So don't be afraid of celebrating. It's okay to feel nervous. Just collect all the information that you feel, all the information and feelings that you feel, put it down in one space, feel it, and then now get to work. Because when you're emotional, then you're also not able to concentrate. The other day I had an opportunity to address 4 presidents: President of Kenya, the Prime Minister of Belgium, the former Prime Minister of the UK, and the President of Botswana. 4 heads of states. And these are the tips that really helped me, and I'd like to share them with you. Aside from collecting and feeling all your emotions, the next thing now you need to understand is research on the background of the event. What is the event about? Because you're not going to speak into an event that you do not know what it's going to be about. If it's going to be an event about agriculture, then whatever it is that you talk about should be about agriculture. In my case, it was the Generation Unlimited partnership meeting, and basically the theme is to continue speaking about the needs, rights of young people, and especially empowering them through education, employment, and civic engagement. So that's the first thing you need to do. Research on what the event is about. Go read about it. If previous events have happened before, go and check on YouTube. You have the availability of Google. Check it out and find out what is the event about. Then once you are done with that, ask yourself, who else will be in the room that will be listening? Because remember, even if you're addressing a head of state, it's not just him or her who you'll be addressing. There's going to be other people in that room. So ask yourself, is it going to be a cabinet secretary? Is it going to be young people like you? Is it going to be teachers? Is it going to be parents? Is it going to be change makers like you? Once you have that context in mind, then you also burst your bubble a little and forget about the president alone, and make sure that even when the president is listening to you, or a head of state is listening to you and understanding what you're saying, the rest of the audience can relate. That's just so key. It's very important for you to understand your audience. The other thing that you need to find out is, how will you deliver your address? Are you going to read from a speech? Are you going to read from a script? Are you just going to speak? Are you just going to give a verbal kind of speech? Are you going to be reading from a teleprompter? Are you going to be speaking in a panel? You just need to understand the different dynamics. But this is really addressed to someone who's giving a speech, either just verbally or reading it from a teleprompter or from a script. So once you identify that, then you are good to go, and now you need to put down the words together. Because trust me, sometimes you'll only be told you have 5 minutes, you have 2 minutes. In my case, I had 2 minutes to talk about the impact young people are having on Generation Unlimited. And guys, we are many, we are like 18 who are kind of members of the team, but there's also young people across the world. How do I put their perspectives together in 2 minutes? 2 minutes. And remember, there's a timer. It's good practice to also time yourself and not to speak too much, because people get tired of listening. So put your words together. So the first thing I did was I asked for the help of the team to help me come up with the ideas, because what my task was speaking about the impact young people have been having. But remember, if there is this young person who is in Algeria or Nigeria, I don't interact with them on a day-to-day basis to know the nitty-gritty of the impact they are having. I do know what they are doing, but I cannot explain on it. But whoever is managing the team has an understanding of what everyone is doing. So the first thing I did, I asked for their help to just put down what everyone has been doing, just so that I would have an easier time. And trust me, that really helped. So if you are the manager, then of course you'd have to do it for yourself. If you are not, if whatever you're speaking about, you'd have to put the information together. Don't be afraid to ask other experts. If you've been told to talk about a topic that you may not be so conversant with, but you have a perspective on it, try and consult and ask people what they would say, what are the figures, what are the statistics, what is it that they know. And then once you have your first draft, read through it silently, and see whether there are any gaps, whether there are any grammatical errors. If they are there, then correct them. Then now, after you've put down your first draft and you have it perfectly, it's written well, the grammar is perfect, now you need to time yourself. Remember to always ask how much time you have. If you know you've been given 2 minutes, try and record it. Just use your phone. You don't have to make it so complicated. Go on the recorder of your phone and start reading it how you would actually read it in front of people. If you've been given 2 minutes, like in my case, and the first time when I read it, it was 5 minutes long, then you instantly know that you need to cut all the words and ensure that they go down up to 2 minutes. And that is what I did. So I kept reading it constantly and pacing myself. Also, you need to pace yourself and see, if I read it at this speed, will I finish in 2 minutes? If I read it so fast, will I be heard clearly? You have to pace yourself properly and just keep cutting down on the words. So once you've read your speech, cut it down and you try and record it, you see it's 3 minutes, try and cut it down again and read it again and read it again and read it again. Surely if you follow these tips, you'll be able to cut it down to about 2 minutes and 15 seconds maximum. Remember, you've been given 2 minutes, so 2 minutes could go all the way to a couple of seconds, but do not go all the way to 3 minutes, because the next thing you're going to be told, you've run out of time, you've run out of time. So that's very important. Now, once you've perfected the timing, then the next thing you need to do, if somebody is managing you or managing your speech, send it to them to have a look, just for them to see whether it covers all the areas that they want you to cover. Sometimes they will say, add this line, remove this line, and sometimes they'll just say, it's okay. In my case, we tried to add 2-3 more lines, but the timing just wouldn't allow. And so I was able to summarize the work about 18 people are doing across the world in 2 minutes, me included in the speech. And I'm telling you, it was not easy, but it was doable. So that's really on timing. The other thing you need to do is, when you are going to speak to a head of state, when you are giving a formal address, be there on time. Make sure you are there early. Because trust me, any event where a head of state is involved is very unpredictable. You might have been told you will speak at 2 p.m. and you get to the meeting and you're told to speak at 1 p.m. and you decided to join the meeting when you were speaking. Especially now in the era of Google, just be there for the entire duration, or at least be there for the whole time that you will be required to speak. Until after you speak is when you can leave, so that you can also account for all these challenges. If you are a lady, do your makeup early. Do your makeup early. And this is something that I learned for myself. when I knew there was going to be a head of state and this was going to be a very important meeting, I made sure that I started doing my makeup an hour and a half before the actual event. So the event was starting at 4, but I made sure that at about 2:30, I was already doing my eyebrows, doing my hair, eating my lunch, doing everything that I needed to do, so that by the time we got to around 3:30, I was prepared. Because remember also, if you're a lady, you know, things are so unpredictable. You might apply your lipstick, then it comes out wrongly, then you have to wipe it off, then do it again. You might do your eyebrows, then things just go wrong. You might do your lashes, then you end up having mascara all over your eyes. Things are so unpredictable, so try and do these things in advance, and especially if you're a lady, I'm giving you a tip. Then once you have done that, make sure you are also dressed. At least you're dressed well, you're dressed decently. I will not tell you to wear a suit. In my case, I just wore a normal dress, a black coat, and a Maasai necklace on my neck, of course. That's what I did because I really wanted to bring out the Africa theme. Then now in the era of Zoom, you need to check whether you have Wi-Fi. You need to check whether your internet is strong. Just cover yourself for emergencies. If you're using Wi-Fi, make sure you also buy enough bundles just in case lights disappear or something happens. You can easily navigate back to the meeting. That's very important. So make sure you're properly dressed, you time yourself properly, enter the meeting way before. Okay, not way before, but in my case, the meeting was starting at 4, so I joined 15 minutes too. So I joined at 3:15 p.m. When I logged in, I was now ready. I was no longer nervous. You've gone to the bathroom. You've done everything you need to do. Check whether your speech is ready. You have it there on your screen. And then now sit and relax. And trust me, don't be afraid. Just believe in yourself. Now, when it comes to the actual delivery of the speech, because sometimes you might get so prepared, you've done all these things, then when it comes to the delivery, everything just starts going wrong. Your lights disappear. Try and stay calm at that moment, but let's assume everything is going well. So in that meeting, you've now been told our next speaker is Miss Cynthia Nyongesa. Smile to your audience, whether you are smiling to your audience on their computer or you are smiling to your audience in a physical event. Smile, breathe in, breathe out, and start reading or start speaking. The most important thing when you're delivering is to pace yourself. Don't speak too slowly, don't speak too fast, and if you had not put these words initially in your speech when you were rehearsing, please do not start saying other things in between, because what's going to happen is that you'll run out of time and you might even forget what it is that you were supposed to say. Deliver it properly, pace yourself, and then once you are at the end, you say thank you and you smile. You keep smiling. It's really important to smile, and you are done. Really, that is the essence of preparing to address a head of state. But remember, especially if you are somebody who's now learning how to speak in public, speaking to a head of state does not just happen, not for many people. You have now to start preparing, sometimes years in advance. When I was able to address 4 heads of state, one being a former head of state, to be honest, it has taken me about 5 years. And that means constantly networking, constantly building yourself as a leader, constantly building your profile as a leader, and ensuring that you're constantly visible to the right people. That's very important. Do your work diligently and just ensure that by the time you're going to deliver that speech, whether it's 2 days from now or it's 6 years from now, you have the content already in your veins. Then the other thing you need to do is to start learning how to do public speaking very early in life. Try and watch TED Talks. In Kenya, you can watch Dadasphere, watch Engage, watch different kinds of platforms where you learn how to speak. If you can, join a public speaking class. I hear Toastmasters is good, although I've never done it, but guys who've done it told me their speaking has really improved. And for me, what I personally do is I use my imagination. Think about if one day I'm called upon to address a head of state, how would I do it? For me personally, I've thought about it for a long time, and I keep practicing. I usually take my mirror sometimes and I imagine my reflection is the audience, and I start imagining how that situation would go. Watch speeches from Barack Obama. I have done a video on how to speak like Obama. That will help you to improve your communication skills. So check it out. Learn every day and just keep watching videos that will help you. Also, learn the how to speak properly, because it also comes with how you speak every other day in order for you to be fluent. So speak to people constantly. If you struggle with English, try and speak to people constantly in English, so that you're constantly building on your language skills. If you are not so good in reading, especially if you'll be reading a speech, nobody wants to hear somebody say, Cynthia yes, very good. Now, nobody wants to listen to that kind of speech. People want to hear it being delivered properly. So start reading now. Read lots of books, read newspapers, listen to podcasts that will help you to start learning how to read properly, know where the full stop is, where the apostrophe is, where the comma is. Those are very, very basic things that you'll think they're just taught to children who are 5 and are starting school. But trust me, a lot of adults also struggle with that. So that will also help you to deliver your address properly to a head of state. Thank you so much for being part of Cynthia Untamed. I hope you have learned a lot from these tips that I have given. Let me know if you've ever been able to address a head of state. How was it for you? How did you prepare? How did you do? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you are hoping to address a head of state at some point in your life, please also let me know how you are looking forward to prepare to that. And I can also share more tips if you ask me a question down below. As usual, do follow me on my social media pages on Instagram at CynthiaOprah_Nyongesa, on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah, on LinkedIn Cynthia Nyongesa, and keep watching and reading the stories of young change makers in Africa on CynthiaUntamed.com. And I will see you in the next episode. Remember to tell a friend to tell a friend.